believe it exists. I don't know if I necessarily believe in like the heaven-hell portion of it, but I do believe that there's like a form of it.
So when you die, you have like a spirit or a soul, you believe, that may pass on to another place?
Yes.
It's possible, right?
Yeah.
Where do you get that idea from?
Mainly because like I am spiritual. I mean, I'm not exactly Christian, but I'm spiritual, and for one, I know that like my soul is an old soul.
Is that like, from life experiences?
Yes. I've had so many instances of deja vu, like, wow, I've been through this situation before. Like, I must have gone through it at some point before, but it's never been in this lifetime. And I've talked to a lot of other, like, spiritualists who also, like, believe in, like, reincarnation and stuff like that. So I've talked to them, and they've done readings, and apparently I've been around a couple times. Like, at least my soul has. So I was like, oh, like, that's pretty interesting. Apparently, at one point I was a Viking, which explains my love for the water and the ocean. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So I believe in like more stuff like that. Like there's an afterlife where we go to, and then like after our souls like spent a little bit of time there, we come back.
Do you know anybody that's like been there or experienced that?
No, unfortunately, I have not. But then again, everybody.
So there are like people who have discussions with like spiritual, what do you call it, readers and palm readers and that kind of thing. That's what you've experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to those kind of people. So I've never met anybody that's been to an afterlife or a heaven, or I've met people that have died and come back from life. Okay, have you ever met anybody that's died and come back from life?
Yes, through resuscitation. But then again, could that really be considered dying because their blood is still pumping through their body? Has their brain fully diseased? I feel like to go to that afterlife, you have to be like fully gone.
Okay, so in history, there was one person that actually was dead, completely gone, and did come back from life. Do you know who that is? It's Jesus. So Jesus Christ, do you know about Jesus? So do you believe that Jesus was real?
I honestly believe that every God/spiritual being exists. So
on top of the man Jesus, do you believe Jesus was a real human being that walked on earth?
Probably, but not as much as like the stories would have said. Like, he wouldn't have lived up. Like, he probably existed. Sorry? I think he did exist.
It's been proven in history that actually he was a real person that walked on earth. It's historical evidence outside of the Bible, through records of different historians that wrote about this person, Jesus, and his followers. So historically, there is evidence that he was a real person that walked on earth. And this person that walked on earth, he actually claimed to come from heaven. Jesus said that he came from heaven to do the Father's will, and that was to give his life to reconcile humanity to himself. That's why Jesus came. Jesus came because the Bible teaches that all of us have sinned against God in our own way. All of us choose to live our lives according to what we feel is right, and don't take him into accordance of what our daily lives are like. So when we wake up in the morning, we don't think about, oh, what does God want us to do today? We kind of feel like like you said, spiritualism, right? So you're connected in a spiritual way with other people and other beings and creatures and whatnot, right? And that's from your own personal experience. And other people have different experiences that I talk to, Hindus and Sikhs and Muslims and Buddhists, and everybody has different life experiences that they're trying to, and which I did as well, you know? Reading all about Buddha and Deepak Chopra and reading the Kabbalah and all these different philosophies, trying to find out what spiritualism, reality, you know, what is the truth, you know, who's right, who's wrong. And as I did my personal research, I came to looking at Jesus and the life that he lived, right? And the historical evidence for Jesus. And as I read the scriptures, actually the King James Bible, and what Jesus said, you know, and most people don't talk like what Jesus said. Jesus says stuff like, I am the good shepherd. I give my life for my sheep. Jesus says, I am the door. There is no other way to go to heaven. If you go a different way, you're like a thief and a robber. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh to the Father but by me. Jesus says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So Jesus is saying, if you believe in him, that you are promised this eternal life that you're searching for. And how do you receive that? It's by believing that Jesus Christ died on a cross. He paid for the sins of the world. He was buried. He died. 3 days later, he actually came alive, and the grave was empty, and he physically rose, and over 500 people seen him alive at one time together. And many people seen him alive for 40 days and ate food with him. This is the person that physically resurrected from the dead in all of history. So I encourage you to look at Jesus Christ. God bless you.